Hey guys, Mike here. So today's cult classic review is 2005's Hard Candy, starring Ellen Page as Haley and Patrick Wilson as Jeff. In Hard Candy, a teenage girl meets an older man to try and expose him as a paedophile who abducts underage girls. And so we have Hard Candy. So guys, this is a movie in this series. Before watching and reviewing it today, I had not seen it before, nor had I ever heard of this one. So another one, never heard of it, didn't know what it was about, wanted to see what it was all about. So, what did I think of Hard Candy? Well guys, how do I put this one? Well, first of all, let's get the things that I did like about this film out of the way. The performances, really good. Patrick Wilson, Ellen Page, excellent in this film. The filming techniques really stood out as well. There was a lot of shaky cam footage, which normally I tend not to like, but when it's kind of for the purposes of making it more intense and trying to put you in the middle of the situation and make it seem really erratic, then that's something I can praise, and it does do that really well in Hard Candy. And, nope. Don't think there was anything else, so let's get into the things that I hated about this film. First of all, the entire movie. God, I hated this film. Now, normally, I try and be fair to movies. I try and say what I like about them and what I don't like about them and try and take an objective view of it. And I've done that. You know, I've talked about the things that I did like, but oh my god, this movie as an experience was just torture. Now, obviously, this is fully what the filmmakers want. They want you to feel uncomfortable. They want you to feel the stress and tension of the whole movie. But come on, this was just pure crap. Now, Hard Candy is one of those rare movies that no matter what stance you take on it, no matter what your views are, it doesn't really end well for you. Now, I don't dislike either of these actors. They've both been in some interesting movies. But honestly, hearing Ellen Page's character just talk throughout this entire movie, oh, it was just as much torture as everything else she was doing to the character, because she'd have this really self-righteous stance on everything that this guy does, which, if it is actually true, everything that he does, then she is right in a sense to kind of take this moral stance upon him. But at the end of the day, no matter what this guy has done, she is a horrible, horrible psychopath. And honestly, I think this film would have been much, much better had it been a case of mistaken identity. Of course, it would have been hard to kind of explain the whole fact of that he meets an underage girl and brings her back to his place. That would have been a hard thing to write around, but everything else, it would have been really interesting had it been just a case of an underage girl not knowing what she's talking about and really just mistaking this guy and being haunted by that. But instead, you don't really learn anything that you didn't already know from the start. Sure, you delve deep a bit more into their characters, but with Patrick Wilson's character, you find out new things about him that are somewhat concrete. But with Ellen Page's character, you don't really tend to find anything out about it because you're constantly in this state of, who is she? Why is she here? Who does she know? And that can be something that's quite interesting, but for this one, it just amounts to nothing, really. And realistically, this story only kept going at certain points because the characters are such idiots. Like, she constantly gets the drop on this guy in ridiculously stupid situations. But in all fairness, this movie is on the cult classic poster. But I imagine that one of the criteria for a cult classic movie is that you'd want to watch it again and experience all the emotions and tension that you'd experienced the first time. The only problem with that is, who the hell wants to watch this movie again? I didn't really even want to watch it once. The only reason, again, I stuck with this movie all the way to the end was so I could review it in its entirety. But honestly, even before the halfway point, even before the quarter-way point of this movie, I just wanted to turn it off. And another reason I sometimes try to take a bit of a neutral stance at a certain point with a movie is so I can kind of see it from other people's point of views. But with this one, no, I just hated it. And I'm honestly shocked why this movie got on the cult classic poster. Because honestly, I'd love to talk to someone who loved this movie, and I would love for them to tell me why I'm wrong about this one. So guys, would I consider Hard Candy a personal cult classic, and would I recommend that you guys should see it? No. I would not consider this movie a cult classic at all. Other than the acting and some of the filming, I just really hated everything about this film. This movie was absolute torture to watch, and I know that was the experience that they wanted you to go through, but for me, that's not something I look for in a movie. Even if the subject matter is a bit disturbing, I want to at least be somewhat entertained with it and not feel like I just want to kill myself watching it. But unfortunately, that's the experience I had with Hard Candy, so... But would I recommend that you guys should see it? No, I would not recommend that you guys should see this one, because if you value your sanity, I would say steer absolutely clear of this one. Maybe if you want to watch it once to see what it's all about, then, you know what, put yourself through that. But honestly, if someone's already seen this film and they wanted to watch it again, I'd be very worried about them. Honestly, this isn't the first kind of movie that I've seen like this, but still, for this movie to be considered a cult classic, honestly, I've got no words for you. Okay guys, that's my cult classic review of Hard Candy. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Whatever you think, drop it in the comments below. Until next time, I've been Michael. See ya!